think about the type of content, the type of content you will like, because our goal is to have the right content for the right audience using the right platform. That's the goal, especially talking about information that has to do with project management. And of course, project management cut across different fields, different areas of life. Okay, having said that, 10 reasons why projects fail. A little down the subset: no clear goal or goals and objectives. When the goals and objectives are not clear or clearly stated, you have issues with misalignment. There is a time, whether you're doing project management or program management, or you're managing portfolios or sub portfolios, there is a time when you need to align, see a control, to ensure that all of your factors, all of the resources you've got, and everything that has to do with your project align to the strategic objective. And that is a measure of the successful project. As a matter of fact, that shows that your project is an indication that that project is successful, or project will be successful. Another reason why projects fail is poor management of requirement, or the scope, poor management of scope. Okay, scope has to do with the borderline, has to do with, so many people stop at requirements in terms of functional requirement, the technical requirement. People don't look at requirements. Some people, not everyone, don't look at a requirement that has to do with quality. Okay, so that leads me to another reason why projects fail. Reason why projects fail is poor quality management. Quality has to do with the degree of excellence of something. For instance, the degree of excellence of a product. For instance, iPhone 15 Pro Max. Or the degree of excellence, or the standard of something, when you measure it against another thing of a similar product or services, as the case may be. Some organizations have set excellence when it comes to service delivery, when it comes to products, and some, for instance, have set standard like Six Sigma, which means that for 1 million iPhone, for instance, produced, you have just 3.4, that is 3 iPhone, and maybe the fourth iPhone just have a little dent, in terms of packaging, but 3 of it, has defects. Imagine a million products. The same thing has to do with a million customers. There are a lot of use cases that you can, apply Six Sigma. That has to do with quality. So when it comes to project management, you have set objectives, set requirements also for quality. You don't stop at requirement based on technical or functional requirement or the business requirement. You also set requirements also for quality, and because these are not done, not the usual habit, projects fail. There are success criteria, that needs to be set when it also comes to the dimension called quality. Okay, that's another reason why projects fail. It's what many people call time management. Professionals, we call it schedule management. Okay, is when the schedules are unrealistic, okay, or when schedules are not planned properly. Another reason is poor cost management. Many a times you have got the budget performance, that the actual versus the plan, that is budget, and room. There are thresholds as to eating certain extra budgetary approvals, and by virtue of this process, some managers have been suspended because they even extend and get again and again management reserve. They keep on eating the management reserve again and again, drawing out business cases, and that has led to a lot of issues by virtue of not being able to manage the finance properly. Issue has to do with poor human resource management generally, poor resource management, because resource management has got to do with human resource. Robots is a resource, okay? And your resource can also be, your capital, just like the cost I mentioned earlier is also a resource. Resource can also be an issue with materials, okay? Is also a resource. Okay, so when they are not properly managed, you've got issues, around that. You look at robots as an equipment, or robots, as a resource now. When you have it within your inventory system, you've got organizations that incorporate the use of robots to manage product development, or render services. Okay, so these are areas where you need to look at for an effective and successful project. Okay, so another reason is procurement management. When you look at from the plant, okay, to your plate, for instance, taking a maize to the plate when you heat, okay, that's a lot of logistics to ensure everything is done within budget, within time, and the entire risk is taken care of, entire supply chain. Okay, so procurement management is another reason why poor procurement management is another reason why projects fail. Okay, another reason is stakeholders management, poor stakeholder management. When you have to look at high influence, some people have high influence and low interest. How do you manage them? Do you engage them? Okay, some have low influence and high interest. What do you do? How do you manage them? Another reason why projects fail is as a result of poor risk management. I do ask my mentees, and I do say, do you like to be a risk manager, or you like to be an incident manager or a problem manager? The answer is not far-fetched. Many, after the understanding of risk management and seeing the value, they always say they like to be a risk manager. Good communication is the bedrock of every successful project. Quote me. Now, how do I mean? Because number one, I mentioned vision. Okay, even as a leader, the leader needs to communicate the vision in the right way. Communication is broad, both the body language and whether the written or the verbal. All talking about communication strategy. Communication is deep. When a project manager or a program manager, portfolio manager fails in the aspect of communication, honestly, the project or the program or the portfolio has failed. Okay, so it is very essential, that project managers or program managers or portfolio managers manage communication effectively. Looking at the first factor I mentioned, when it comes to the vision, looking at the second, when it comes to scope management, you need to communicate the scope. Technical subject matter expert need to also engage, need to communicate, need to be able to look at epics or the user stories or backlogs. However the methodology being adopted, you need to present it in a manner that is fit for purpose. When a business analyst is trying to communicate the business needs, okay, we're trying to do fit gap analysis, looking at the as is present of the process or to the be process using fit gap analysis. the fit gap analysis need to detail, exactly the gap, so that when you're looking at execution, you'll be able to know that these are the things that have been customized. Looking at IT project, for instance, communication is deep and is wide. So talking about even schedule management, the fact that you're a project manager doesn't mean that you have all the knowledge. You need to engage subject matter expert to get the right schedule. When you begin to look at analogous estimates, it has a lot of issues that of inherent risk. However, when you combine a lot of estimating techniques, beyond just analogous estimation techniques, you combine other techniques, with parametric, techniques, you'll be able to have robust information. This information needs to also be communicated, needs to be validated. You need to engage sponsors. So when you talk about and when it comes to health of even the project or the health of the portfolio, you need to also communicate health status, communicate risk. You need to communicate the risk, and that's you'll be able to manage the risk effectively, because depending on the risk tolerance of the organization, depending on the risk strategy that will be adopted, I may see the risk and be risk averse. Okay, while some have looked at the risk and say, okay, let's have some transfer strategy. Okay, for an instance, okay, let's transfer this risk to an insurance company, or whatever. So there must be clear communication. When it comes to procurement, there must be clear communication. When it comes to integration of, for instance, costs and procurement, there must be clear communication. For instance, when you're looking at clear communication of the costing method, the inventory management process, there must be clear communication. When you're looking at quality, there must be clear communication when it comes to quality. Okay, when it comes to human resource, of course, human, have got emotions. Humans are not machines. Okay, even the machine, there must be clear, robust communication when it comes to algorithms, when it comes to the right model that the robot needs to use per time. Okay, and there must be clear communication to see, whether the robot or the equipment, everything is deviating from the baseline. There must be clear communication between our stakeholders, okay, the sponsors, or politicians, or regulatory bodies. A lot of stakeholders, just I did mention, that have got a low influence or high interest, or high interest, high influence, and low interest, or they have low. There must be clear communication. And when it comes to the knowledge database, there must be clear communication so as not to repeat the same problem on project A in project B, or program A in program B. Okay, so communication is very, very important. I hope you find this video very useful, resourceful. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.